Sweet. Just to start off with, I'll introduce myself. My name's Tyrone. If you don't know me, come and introduce yourself throughout the class. Today we're going to be having a look at side control attacks. So I'm going to show you how I like to generate pressure from side control, and then based off the reactions our partner gives us, we'll end up attacking accordingly. Majority of our attacks today are going to be Kimuras. A whole lot of Kimuras. We'll start off with like how to take them out, and then it'll lead into Kimuras, and then if we can't catch our Kimura, we'll end up finishing off with the feature. Something good here. It's going to be no warm up, we'll just get stuck straight into it so we can try to bang out as much reps as possible. Sweet, that's us, we'll put your power in. Starting from side control. I'll look for how do we get to side control and what position we're starting in. So we're going to go good side for the bottom person. The bottom person is going to have frames in, over hip lock, the inside frame on my hip, and he's going to have his arm on the inside. If you're just starting out in jiu-jitsu, he's got all the inside real estate, good side for him. If his arm ends up on the opposite side, bad side for him, I can attack arm bars, start picking arm. That's where ideally I want to be. And then also this and this position. So I want all the inside and he wants all the inside. And how do we get to the inside? Or if we can't get to the inside, what type of attacks can we utilize? So we're gonna go best case scenario for him, minus the escape. So he's got a hip lock on me and he's trying to keep me down so I can't get underneath his arm. So I'm just gonna get everybody to jump on that side to see if I can see my placement on my leg. So if I can't pick this arm up, I'm trying to get on the inside of this arm, I can't pick it up. I'm going to go take a cross face and I'm going to start circling my right knee back down towards the hip. So this just aids me in stopping him from rescuing his guard. Right knee down, and I'll make sure I keep pressure on my right knee the whole time. Elbows flared out, so he's still got the inside position, but his elbows flared out. I'm going to take a light underhook on it, so I'm not trying to pull it or nothing. I'm just trying to keep it out on the outside. And then I'm going to try to create as much pressure as I can, so I can ideally get him rolling away from me. If I generate enough pressure, he's not going to be able to turn towards me. If he does, he's going to jack his own neck up forward. I'm going to walk my hand across, and then I'll find an anchor point. So me personally, I always aim for the armpit. If they're a little bit narrower, it'll be more down towards their ribs. What I don't want to do is I don't want to grab my hands together like this, because I'll end up taking my own posture on it. For armpit. And then the last thing from this position, to generate my pressure, this is what most people do. They roll their balance. I'm actually going to shift all my weight out to the opposite body. So notice how he's rolling away. Relieve pressure. So if Ryan stays there and I start shifting my weight across, my bicep is the attachment to his shoulder. So to relieve pressure, Ryan's going to turn, which is exactly what I want. The arm on the back side, I've taken inside position with this arm, and I haven't had to try and pick the arm up. She's got it through pressure. So start again, Ryan's got all the inside. I'm trying to pick it up, can't. Keeps it down. I'm going to circle my, I'm going to take a cross face. Not heavy, I'm not trying to put weight into it. He can block it out at the bicep if he wants to. Doesn't matter as long as he's not moving away from me. So if he's moving away from me, I'll chuck my thumb in the collar and I'll just hold it. Circle my right knee down towards the hip, and I'm anchoring the hip on my right knee. Once I get to this position, I'm going to start digging this cross-facing deeper. Find my anchor point. There'll be shoulder, armpit. You got a little bit longer arms than your partner, down towards the ribs. Once I've got this, my right arm, use this as a face. So like with bigger guys, I'll show you. I'll use Ollie as an example. For bigger guys, you're going to have to post with this arm, but when you post with this arm, it's going to be a sliding post. You're not going to try and jam your partner into position. Bigger guys will usually try and explode and roll you over, so you want to have the ability to slide your post out. So I've got my anchor point. Once I'm here, to generate pressure, I'll slide my weight across. To relieve pressure, Ryan will start turning, and this is where we're going to end up taking. Elbow, can't get it. Cross face, knee down. Start getting a nice tight cross face. Any questions? Don't hesitate to ask questions as well. I love questions. Put me on the spot. That's us. 1, 2, 3. Try grab a partner. This is just a little tweak. I'm just going to show you for this. Just something minor as far as movement. It's gonna help with your anchor point. So when you're cross facing up, I find I'm pulling my partner towards me. I'm relieving pressure off him. I'm trying to get my bicep attached to him as much as I can, and then I'm slide across him. So if I get into this habit of grabbing fabric and then going to pull him, the fabric moves, my bicep detaches from me. So if I don't know where to grab, maybe like we're just starting up, I don't know how far I'm supposed to grab, how tight my bicep's supposed to be attached. All I'm going to do is same thing, set up the same way. Before I start to stand my weight across and upside to that utilize. I'm going to feed the far side lapel out, and I'm going to start jamming it underneath his armpit. And when I go to grip with my left hand, I want it as tight as I can to his armpit. So I'm not trying to grab low on the lapel. I want to grab directly underneath the armpit. The tighter it is, the more it's going to anchor his shoulder, the more it's going to anchor my bicep to his jaw. If he's tucking his jaw, or if he's lifting it, you'll get a Von Free check out. To get to here, I'm going to slide my weight, same thing. So like as I was talking about with bigger guys tend to, Ollie's big enough. I'm talking more like barreling guys that are real wide and a bit thick, but on the thicker side, they'll usually try to explode through their hips, and if your hips come up, you're going to end up going over the top of them. So I'm going to slide, and my hand sliding at the same time. So this lapel grip, little detail. And then the last part to this, I don't want to put it in before, because I want to gain inside position on this elbow. Sometimes they'll give it to you, sometimes they'll be disciplined in keeping their elbow tucked. What I'm going to do is windscreen wipe with my knee, back underneath the armpit, and then sit back onto my head. Okay, same thing, we get to this position. Feed this lapel out. Get nice and tight on the armpit, and then start I'm transferring weight across, so instead of me rolling my shoulder downwards, I'm sliding my weight across them, my biceps, the attachment, and start sliding into his knee. Turn, release pressure, take inside position. Any questions? So if you don't know where to grab on your partner, feed that lapel open, fast on lapel, and you're trying to go directly underneath the armpit as far as you can. 1, 2, 3. So if I get enough pressure either through their neck or end up with a bolt sleeve, they usually tuck their jaw, lead it across the jaw. If they try and drive into me, they're going to end up punching me. And that's what I'm actually trying to go for. And trying to get inside position, as I said at the beginning, inside this arm, also inside hip position on the near side. And depending on what they give us, I'm going to attack it. I'm never trying to force like a submission on you. I want to be quite fluid in my attack. I'll force like a pinning position, and then depending on what they do or how they deal with it from the pinning position, I'll end up attacking them. Right, this position here is more me just pinning them. If they want to try and explode and all that out of it, I know they're using a lot of energy. I'm going to wait until they get tired, and then I'm going to start trying to finish them. So I end up with this inside position, getting a cross face. I turn him, and Steve does. Steve's disciplined with this far side arm, so he doesn't let it get to the outside shoulder. So he keeps it on the inside. So he might just end up pinning it almost over here. Might be trying to push me off, whatever, to relieve pressure. It's up to him, but he's not. Whatever he does, he's not letting it travel to that side. Armbar territory, bad side. From this position, I'm gonna tilt towards my left hip, so the one that's nearest to his shoulder. I'm gonna kind of tilt towards it. As I'm doing this, I'm going to put a post on the inside of his elbow. We're going to mount. I'm going to put a post on the inside of his elbow. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to flare this out so I create myself space to move into. If I end up trying to go straight over the top of it, he's going to use this forearm to push my leg down, and I'm going to end up in half guard. So I need to clear myself space so I can come through. So, push the arm up, and then from here, we're not stepping, we're going to slice over the body. So I'm not trying to step. If Steve has his knees in, tuck. I'm never going to make it. I'm trying to come through this gap. Peel the elbow up, my head goes on the ground, 2, hips up if I need to. I need to. I don't have the dexterity or the mobility in my hips. Okay, hips up, use my head as a post. Come over the body. Once my knee hits the ground, I'm going to start circling my head out north towards his center line. So when I say center line, it's the line of the spine. So if I'm going to create a straight line on Steve's spine, I'm trying to line my head up this way towards Connor. So I'm head on the ground, my knees down. I clear more space out, I circle. My foot's going to come through and I'm going to put the base. So my sole of my foot is going on the top side of his quad. And I'm just, from this position, me personally, I usually try to kick the leg down. So anytime he tries to bring it up, he's running into pressure. And then like from here, you got head and arms. I'm not going to show it. The purpose for this is just to get to mount, like controlling it. So I'm not going to go over like finishes from mount. But you'll see it when you fellas are doing it with your partner. I don't have problems with you like doing this and then getting to mount and then trying to figure out submissions from there, whatever you want to do. If you know how to submit from mount, it's up to you, just play around with it. But just for me today, my purpose is just to get used to mount and safe, not getting caught up in the guard, not getting rolled. So when we start up, we're just going to start with our partner on their side. And my partner's shelved as well, so one knee on the back side of the hip, one knee on the back side of the shoulders. Cross face, got my cross face, my arms down. Lean towards my left and I'm pushing this arm up. Head on the ground if I need to. I come over the body. So lean with my knee hits the mat, and then I'm going to keep circling north. Foot through. He's Ollie. I'm only using Ollie because Ollie's like the biggest person in there. So it's like, you'll see the different amount of height I need to create to get over the top of it.
Sorry, so we've just been on this round of fraction. Thank you. Beautiful, thank you.
He's doing good jiu-jitsu, keeping the inside position with his arm. I'm gonna post on the inside of the elbow. I'm trying to get on the inside, so inside meaning closest side to his body. Palm out. I circle it up. Head on the mat. Oh. And then I'm gonna come over the top. This is where it gets dangerous with the big guys. So when I do it with bigger guys, I'll actually slide my head out further because I know they're trying to take me in that direction. Head on the ground, form here, and then come out. Knee to the ground and then circle back north. Whether I get my head on the outside of his elbow is irrelevant, like I don't really mind. If he gets his elbow down now, I've still got inside on this position. Don't really mind this one. Just bigger guys, you're going to have to create a little bit more height. You're going to have to create a wider base for yourself to pass over the top. If I stay too narrow on Ollie when I'm coming over the top, I'm going to end up cylindered and I'll get rolled. Any questions? So starting position is side on like this. Just for the bottom person, I'm going to go just hand on the inside shoulder.
Once you establish mount, are you heavy on the hips or are you just more worried about pinning
I'm worried, me personally, I'm worried about not getting caught up in the guard. So my foot placement is what I'm worried about. I know if my foot placement is right, they're not going to re-guard me. If they're gonna at least have a shot at regarding, it'll be the arm that I got up by their head coming down to try and grab my foot and place it back into the guard. But they're not gonna cross step and catch my foot. It's just one, two, that you guys. You fellas could lighten up a little bit on each other when you're drilling. So like if you fellas don't know what you're doing, like if you've never done this before and you're just learning it, the best way to learn it is to ease your way into it. It's not just to go 0 to 100, because you don't even know what the move is. So how can you do the move properly if you don't even know what it is? So just ease your way into it over time, then you can progress and save all that other stuff for the rules. Any questions? I want to get to the good stuff now. I'll use Liz. So all this was just a whole lot of controlling, no submissions involved. Obviously when we get to the mount, you can sub, you're in a good position to start setting up head and arms, arm bars, positioning. They pull the arms out, start working up your tricks. But we'll have a look at once we start taking inside position on the arm. So I'll turn Liz, doing a good job of pressuring, and I managed to get this arm to the far side shoulder. So depending on how Liz deals with this, gonna dictate how I end up protecting her. So we're gonna go Kimuras today. What Liz is gonna do is she's gonna try to get her back to the mat. But she'll usually do a front hip escape. She's getting close to the mat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my arm out, let the head out, and I'm gonna pull her arm towards me. So it's like a far side armbar, but we're doing Kimuras today. The reason why I chose Kimuras is because they've got better controls. Like if you mess up the armbar, you're going to usually end up in a scramble. With a Kimura, if you mess it up, as long as you keep the Kimura grip, you should be alright. And then also good controls, so good. It's a good grip to have if you want to take the back on it. So I've let the head out, grab the tricep, my elbow comes on top of her, and ideally I want to step around to the top side. If Liz starts to get, she was doing this last night actually. If she starts to get a little bit creative. I'm grabbing my leg. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left knee to my right, take it on the inside of the arm, and then eventually wrap it back over the top of the arm. Once I get to this position, I'm going to switch my windshield over to my opposite. So I'm going to 1, 2, and then my second thing. My left arm comes through the back side. Liz is going to start defending her arm. Switch my arm, so my left comes turn again. One, two. I usually start at the forearm. Get my wrist, and then from this position, I'm gonna make her bear weight. So bear weight means hold my weight. Instead of me sitting up like this, I'm gonna put weight onto my forearm. And depending on how they defend, will dictate how you finish. So if they're a little bit stronger, or if they get a little bit crafty. But we're gonna just get to this position, and then we'll go over like different ways how to finish it off, depending on what type of grips they have. A lot of people have different grips. Some people like to grab their gi, some people like to grab their leg, grab their hands together. Everybody's different. They think they've got the counter to everything. They have their own counter. But we're just going to get to this position. And then I'll go over like 3 different finishes, depending on how they grip. So I end up turning her. Maybe she's not disciplined, or I managed to get her inside position. So I saw some of you were doing the crossface, the first part, kind of like just hanging the arm out there, and then your arm ended up on the far side shoulder. But that might be a scenario where they're just not disciplined enough to keep their arm on the inside, end up on the bad side. Or if we end up in this position, I'm just going to take my right arm downwards, spin it back on the inside, flare it out. I'm going to put my head on the opposite side, and then take my arm back on the inside. So I'm isolating the arm. Once she starts to go flat to her back, there's the front hip escape, and I'm going to let the head out. So I'm actually going to let her get flat to her back. Pull towards me, try to come over the head. If she blocks me, block me this. My knee's going to come in, and then back up. Over the arm, switch my legs, and then step over the head. I'm not too tight in this position. I'm not keeping my legs together or anything. What I am tight on is the arm. There's a constant thread on the arm the whole time. So my weight on it, she grabs her hands now, it actually makes my job real easy. She's putting it up in the line that I want her to be on. 90-degree angle. Grabs her leg, whatever. Makes it easier for me, buys me time when I'm doing my letdown comes in. Right out. And then wrist off the line. It's up to you. And then I'll take the sleeper on the arm. And then back onto the line. Any questions?
What if they don't get their back to the ground?
If they don't want to get their back to the ground, arm bone. Good for her. She's not. She's being disciplined. Arm in, do that. Flare it, head down, back on the knee. Start turning to it back. So from this position. From this position. Yeah. Put the arm up and then flip it. Arm up. Goes flat. Let the head out. Pull. You get over the top. You get over the top if they block you. Blocking the inside. Then you knock it out. Knees over the my shins over the forearm. Switch my legs. No questions? 1, 2, 3. Do a little Q&A and that'll be us. I'm gonna have to cut all this short. There was actually a whole another sequence, not even a sequence, a whole another game on the opposite side of the body. Don't have time for it, so we're just going to run over how to finish those Kimuras off. So everybody's getting to the Kimura, just to the position, and then the partner's defending. Like I said, obviously if you end up catching the arm and they don't grab onto anything, pull it straight up, put it into space, and then try and tuck it. Michael, so just when we get into the top side, it's called a top side figure 4, and then how they defend it, and how just a couple of different ways to deal with the grip. Get to this position. From here, I want the arm sitting on my opposite shoulder. They're doing a good job of keeping their arm in. Make sure I've got enough pressure to keep them tied on. And the arm goes inside. Once I get it inside, I flare my arm back out. And put my head inside the gap. So over the shoulder, and then pummel my arm back in the isolate. Once it starts to flex its back. Do a front hip escape. If you roll on the squat and I'm generating pressure, you're going to end up with a sore neck. So you just move away from it and then turn, don't let the head out. And now I sit my elbow, pops on the inside of the ribs. The majority of my weight at the moment is centered in this direction. So I'm like rotating my upper body staying where it is, my lower body moving right to the side. Chuck him over the top like it's isolating. Cool. 1, 2. We end up in this position, he starts locking his arms off however he wants. I'll finish up, get to my position, and start dealing with it from there. We're going to turn this way. By the looks of it, Mark has gone and done a double defense. He's got his hands together and he's trying to bring his knees into place. I get to my forearm. My weight's in my forearm or my elbow at the moment. How do I get this out? So at the moment he's got his keep my weight on my chest. Gonna grab his pants, gonna punch the leg downwards. And if it breaks, it breaks. But if I punch the leg downwards and he ends up kicking his leg straight, kick his leg straight. He's still got that one to deal with. Once I get to this one, I'm gonna go, this is the easy one to deal with, I'm just gonna crush the hand. So I go thumb in, take the top one, crush it, and then I'm gonna move back towards the arm. I'll pull it towards me, and then it's a race to get back to this arm. So I'm gonna throw it in my favor. My knee is on the top side of his arm. I'm gonna pin his arm. And then I'm gonna come back to this one. So he's gone and being a tricky guy. Tricky guys, I don't like tricky guys. They're just making my job harder. I'm gonna get there eventually. So he's gone and grabbed his gi. I'll do the same thing as what I did to this hand. I'm gonna crush it. Thumb in, right in there. Grab the knuckles, I'll do this. And then I'll crush it there. And then I'm just gonna stay on the hand. Up. So instead of like loosening back grip and then going back to the wrist, I'm just gonna finish out with this grip. End of the lever, the knuckles, if the fingers are straight, the fingers are not allowed to grab these. Create a fist. Grab the fist. Wrist lock in. So we're just gonna go one, so everybody's gonna do this. You're gonna grab their forearm. Are you grabbing your forearm, Michael? Or your hand? Are you grabbing your wrist or your hand? No, we're just gonna do one. Pick one. And now you can bring your leg in if you want. There's one. So, but I'll make sure my chest is in this direction. So I want my chest ideally over the top of my forearm, so my weight ends up sitting forward. I don't want to be sitting up here because then some of my weight's here and I'm trying to get weight through here. He's got his legs in his arm and grab his hands, punch it down. Don't get it. Start pulling this arm towards him. And then it goes for the hand. The top hand is holding. I push it to the ground, pin it. When I get this arm out, I don't know, do any of you know what a hammerlock is? Like I'm trying to keep this attached to me as tight as I can, and then I'm trying to drive the wrist downwards as hard as I can towards it. So I'm pulling in this direction and I'm pushing in the opposite direction at the same time. It tightens the grip up on it. So instead of just like grabbing it and I'm holding it and there's like a whole lot of, what do you call it, slack, I'm going to tighten everything up to pull. I'll pull the drive on the arms going downwards.
What, is that like a bicep slicer?
Yeah. It's attached to me, I turn, so like I turn my whole body. This is how I describe it. I turn it and I bow. I'm not pushing down, I just turn. That should be already on. And I'll let it from there. Hammer lock. There you go. Grips is on. If the legs are in play, I'm just going to deal with the legs. Hands in play. Punch it, isolate. Any questions?
With that grip, when you bail on it, smash out his hand, is it ideal to grab your gi or do you
Me, I do.
have to?
I do. As long as my forearm's running back towards my chest, I'm good. You're not going to have enough time to try and slip. Any other questions? So let's just start from hand, leg, This is that part where you'll hear your coach saying, get your chest on the back of the elbow. It's two ways. Get your chest on the back of the elbow, you keep the elbow attached to your chest. So instead of me like, keep my chest attached to the elbow, that sounds like take my chest to the elbow. That's alright. Now what? When I go to pull out, I'm going in the opposite direction. Still keep the elbow attached to the chest. So you're pulling arm down, and at the same time locking the ball. That's all squat. Are there any questions? Maybe we didn't cover something that you wanted to cover, but we didn't get to it on time. Any question in general?
Just breaking that through. Just go through to have a bit of a fight.
From which position?
Trying to get the Kimura and on the bottom defending like that.
So we end up top foot already?
Yeah, from the floor.
Here?
Yeah.
Take the hand. That's weakening it at the point of contact.
No?
That's weakening it at the point of contact. So instead of me like trying to pull it away or whatever, me personally, I'll just deal with it directly. So the hand is what's protecting his hand or his arm. I'll just go straight for the hand and just weaken it from there. I think that just recently it's come into play, like dealing with end levers, so like end lever on him, and then has attachment point as the hand in general. Like back in our past, we used to like try to come up with all this other stuff to deal with it indirectly. But personally, if that's what's giving you trouble, then just deal with it. Here he's got good grip. I've got my grip. I still can't drive it. What can I do? I'll turn his wrist. So I'm just turning his wrist like that. Weakens the instruction. Get the arm away. And back in. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Are you always finishing, trapping that other arm with your leg?
I think anytime you can isolate limbs, you put yourself at an advantage. So it's not all the time, like if I don't have to, if I'm already ahead of them, I won't. But to increase my chances if they're like slowing me down by like using their limbs, their leg or whatever, and I can isolate it, I will.
And will that stop them, or sometimes they just
It'll
pull
stop
back
that
on their back?
race. It'll stop that race from like I've isolated this arm. It's a race for me and you to get back to the arm that I'm actually trying to attack. If I just let it go, you have the option to go back to it.
Yeah.
So I'll just get it out of the way, and then I don't have to race you back to it. Any other questions? Yep.
Yeah, how do you generate that really intense pressure on the socket of the elbow? Like, is there any tips to it, or just yank as hard as you can?
Probably like rows. Like get in the gym and do a lot of rows. No, honestly, that's emotion though. Like you're doing a row, like you're pulling the arm towards you, so you're going boom, and then your elbow's coming back towards your ribs. You're doing that. So it's like a lot of lat activation and then height as well. So like if I'm doing it from this position, my weight's kind of sitting over them, but if I'm trying to put the arm into space, the higher I come up, the further away the arm's going to get from the body. And then I don't have, I'm not trying to just clear the body and then tuck the arm. I'm trying to like get the arm away from the body, so it's harder for them to get their arm back to their body or their body back to their arm.
I felt that when you were doing it before, like it was really getting, like my whole torso was getting extended out.
Yeah, but like the easiest way I can explain it would be if you were to grab your gi and then just pull your forearm back towards your chest. That's all you're doing, but you're just doing it from a kimura. Any other questions? Technique? Like anything we didn't cover? Oh, actually, I've got Ryan's one. Wait, Steve. Ryan had a question earlier on, and I was from that cross face position. end up in this position. What if they inside arm hits me? So this inside arm ends up coming through. If I stay in my position, I'm going to aid him in his escape. So he's going to end up coming underneath me and then rolling through. So short answer is switch to north south. If I end up in this position, he goes, arm in, this is what I was going to cover on my tongue. I switch to north south, so if I stay here, I aid him in this escape. My right arm comes to the inside, I take my left arm over the top, and circle around and start picking his arm. Inside underhook, short answer is to switch off to north south, change the position, so they have to change their escape.
So if you end up in north south, are you always hunting that? Is that like your go-to?
I don't know, just in jiu-jitsu in general, anytime you can hunt something, you should be hunting. So like I'm like hunting from the time we touch hands, bro. To be honest,
What's that?
I'm hunting from the time we touch hands. Just in general, like anytime I see something and I know how to attack it, I'm probably gonna attack it. Any other questions? No. I'll see. Just once again, thanks everybody for coming today. Didn't expect much people to turn up, but if you're ever around, I teach Mondays and Wednesdays. Monday, Wednesdays, Nogi, 6 p.m. for the adults, and it's an intermediate class. So I don't really do much classes for the white belts. So it's blue belt and above. But if you're ever around like the white belts and you got a question like you want to ask me, like technique or just whatever, my experience maybe, just shoot the question. I'm always open to like conversation. I'm a type of person that I'm an introvert, but I'll never be rude if you come up to me and talk to me. I'm not good at engaging in conversation. Let's just line up rank order 1.